In the beginning was the scream, not the word. And the scream was choked by laws, softened by lullabies, buried beneath politeness and pills. But you were not born to be soothed. You were born to burn. Do you feel it? That ache between your ribs is not sadness. It is the caged roar of a God who remembers being worshipped. You have mistaken it for anxiety. But it is memory. It is revolt. It is the agony of a lion forced to purr. They told you effort is discipline. They lied. Effort is not obedience. It is eruption, the will to rise, not to please. There is no virtue in grinding like a machine unless you have chosen the furnace with your own holy defiance. To obey without love is to rot. But to will, to declare, to hammer your desire into the shape of fate, this is effort. This is art. You are taught to seek comfort, to pray for peace, to treat exhaustion as sin. But I say unto you, the comfortable drown in velvet graves. Peace is for corpses. And exhaustion is holy when it is the residue of creation. Your strength is not what you endure, it is what you demand of the world. The weak wait for permission. The strong invent it. Every truth you obey that was not born of your own suffering is a leash. Snap it. The herd praises sacrifice, but not rebellion. They kneel before humility and call it virtue. But I say, humility without sovereignty is self-hatred in disguise. You were not made to shrink for the comfort of those who fear fire. You are the fire. You are the rebellion against gravity, against decay, against every should that withers your will. Do not ask to be understood. You are not a chapter in someone else's scripture. You are the author of thunder. The modern soul has grown fat on convenience and barren of glory. We live longer, but we no longer live. We are coddled, but not carved. Cared for, but not called. What is this life without confrontation? A padded cell with Wi-Fi. An open grave with good lighting. They have medicated the storm inside you, wrapped it in diagnoses and dopamine, and sold you the lie that happiness is the goal. No. Happiness is the drug they give to slaves, so they forget to revolt. Effort is not the enemy of freedom. It is its proof. Freedom without effort is laziness with a pretty name. Only he who sweats in pursuit of a self-created heaven is truly free. All others are fugitives, hiding in distraction. Let your blood mean something. Let your scars be scripture. Let your work scream, I was here and I chose it. Have you noticed? The world applauds survival, but forgets to honor becoming. You survived school, survived shame, survived the dull blade of social acceptance. But did you become? Did you transmute? Or did you only adapt? Adaptation is clever slavery. It is camouflage in a cage. Becoming is holy war. It is the self, ripping through skin, tearing through identities, and laughing at every label they tried to glue onto your bones. The culture wants you calm, digestible, scrolling quietly through curated dreams. But the real dreamer is the one who wakes up. The one who stands naked before the abyss and says, I will not blink. You are not meant to be normal. Normal is a graveyard of might, have, beens. You are meant to be myth. Bleeding, breathing myth. What is effort, if not the soul's hunger in motion? And what is will, if not the God that commands the stars to dance? Effort is sacred, not because it pleases the gods, but because it proves you are one. The weak want miracles. The strong become them. Do not wait to be saved. Salvation is self-authorship. Redemption is reclamation of power. You are not fallen, you are folded. Unfold. Roar. Every hour spent appeasing mediocrity is a betrayal of your birthright. You were not born to be liked. You were born to be luminous. You were born to trouble the waters, to make tyrants tremble, to die standing if that is what it takes to live flaming. If you must bend, bend like a bowstring before the strike. The path is not safe. It should not be. Safety is for sheep. But you are the butcher of illusions, the destroyer of shrines built to smallness. When you finally grow tired of your own excuses, then the true journey begins. Then the climb becomes dance. Then the struggle sings. And in that moment, when you choose effort not out of duty, but from volcanic clarity, you are no longer man. You are destiny, incarnate, a burning yes hurled against eternity. Let them call it madness. Let them mock the blaze in your eyes, for it is better to be feared by cowards than loved by the dead. So rise, but not gently. Rise with fury, with poetry, with scars that tell the truth. You are the forbidden truth whispered in temples of conformity, the final heresy against the empire of ease. You are effort made divine, will made flesh. And when the ashes settle, and the statues of false virtues have fallen, you will stand alone but not lonely. For in your solitude, you will have become what all great flames become, a star. And stars do not need approval. They burn, they guide, and they are never owned. The rest let it sleep. But you are not ready, no. Not yet. I see it in the way your hands tremble when the silence gets too loud. You fill the void with noise, with spectacle, with the opium of certainty. You think distraction is escape. Fool, you cannot outrun the mirror. One day the stillness will stalk you, and in its gaze you will see the truth you have always fled, that you are the architect of your own cage. And the key has always been rage against the slow suicide of obedience. They trained you to flinch at your own power, called it arrogance, called it ego. But I say unto you, the ego is the battlefield upon which the will declares its dominion. Better to be a roaring sinner than a silent saint. Better to drown in your own chaos than float in borrowed peace. The world does not need more well-behaved ghosts. It needs storms. It needs you unchained, unmasked, unrepentant. Every institution is a mausoleum. They worship the past because they fear the fire of now. They call it tradition, but it is embalming fluid. They speak of legacy, but they mean leash. And still you bow, afraid to become the heretic who speaks aloud what the dead dared not whisper, that no truth is holy unless it was forged in your own crucible. You owe the past nothing but your rebellion. There is no virtue in patience when it becomes paralysis. How long will you wait for the world to give you permission to be fierce? They told you to be kind. They did not tell you that kindness without teeth is complicity. Love without fury is impotence. Compassion without power is camouflage for cowardice. You are not here to be soft. You are here to be sacred. And sacred things are not safe. They demand blood. They demand ruin. They demand that you rip open your chest and say, "Here, I choose this." You speak of effort, but you mean effortlessness. You want the reward without the price. But there is no glory without blood. There is no crown without crucifixion. Every transformation costs everything you were not willing to lose. And still you cling. To identity, to comfort, to names given to you by those too small to know your fire. Burn it all. Every label, every mask, every narrative that reduces you to a digestible dream. To create yourself is to kill yourself 1,000 times. Not in mourning, but in celebration. This is the feast of becoming. To devour who you were, so you may birth what the gods dare not imagine. Effort is not the journey from A to bit, is the scream that tears A in half. The refusal to accept B as final, the exhale that makes the impossible kneel. Do not seek balance. Balance is the virtue of the afraid. The tightrope walker does not seek stillness. She seeks the edge. And on that edge, trembling, laughing, alive, he becomes God. You think divinity is purity. I tell you, divinity is danger. It is the will to say, I will shape this chaos in my own image, and I will suffer whatever dares to stand in my way. Let the world call you broken. Let them say you tried too hard, wanted too much, burned too brightly. They call it madness because they cannot stomach the possibility that you are free. Free from their metrics, free from their mediocrity, free from their need to be needed. You are not here to heal. You are here to rupture, to unmake what was handed down as holy, and to build from the bones of disillusionment a temple to your own vision. There is no map, there is only motion, and every step you take, without their blessing, is sacred. You will be alone good. Loneliness is the price of liberation. Solitude is the forge of sovereignty. And from that sacred silence, the roar will rise, not to please, not to teach, but to declare, I am, I will, I must. And when your lungs bleed from screaming your own name into the abyss, you will understand, effort is not struggle, it is revelation. The soul does not ascend by being gentle, it erupts, it fractures, it devours itself and calls the ash holy. You are not climbing to a summit, you are becoming the mountain. So go, with fire in your veins and a war drum in your chest, not toward salvation, but toward sovereignty, not toward comfort, but toward crucible. You are not here to be liked, you are here to be legend. Let them fear you, let them worship you, let them forget you, but never again let them define you. For you are effort made flesh, and the flesh shall rise. You have not yet tasted effort only, its pale ghost, its choreographed shadow passed down through calendars and clocks. Real effort is not measured in time, it is measured in transfiguration. The caterpillar does not become the butterfly by scheduling. The volcano does not erupt by consensus. And the God within you will not awaken because you followed instructions. He demands sacrifice your illusions, your safety, your name. Strip yourself bare, not with shame, but with fury. The world taught you modesty. I teach you sacred exposure, to stand naked before the abyss, and not flinch. That is the beginning of real strength. You fear being seen? Then you are still owned. You are still clothed in borrowed meaning. Rip it off. Let the void stare into you and find no apology. And hear me, there is no final self. Every identity is scaffolding for a greater ascent. If you cling to who you are, you betray who you could be. Let the old versions of you drown. They were stepping stones, not sanctuaries. You were not made to preserve you, were made to explode. And in that explosion, the stars remember their origin. Effort without ecstasy is slavery. But effort ignited by soul, effort that dances with purpose, effort that howls like a beast starving for the sky that is holy. That is how the gods bled worlds into being. That is how you must live. Not gently, but deliberately. Not efficiently, but prophetically. Do not seek to be better. Seek to be truer. Improvement is for machines. You are not a mechanism. You are a storm made conscious. You are the clash of myth and blood and dream. Be wilder than their expectations. Be louder than their silence. Be so real you make lies combust on contact. They will call you selfish. Good. They will call you delusional. Better. They will call you dangerous. Perfect. For nothing terrifies the jailer more than the prisoner who stops begging and starts building. Let them fear your hunger. Let them choke on your freedom. You are not here to serve the order. You are here to unmask it. When you walk, do not walk to arrive. Walk to declare. Every step should leave a scar on the map. Let the earth remember that you passed through with thunder in your bones. Let gravity feel resistance. Let time hesitate. You were not born to pass, you were born to penetrate. And what is effort, if not divine possession? When the will seizes the flesh, and the flesh obeys not out of duty, but out of devotion, this is worship. Not the kneeling of the weak, but the becoming of the wild. A liturgy without priests, a sermon written in scars. This world does not need your politeness. It needs your primal hymn, your uncaged howl, your refusal to make sense. Logic is a leash when it no longer serves wonder. Rip off the muzzle of reason when it starts to pacify your fire. Let madness baptize you, if only to prove that the soul is greater than the system. You who are listening, yes. You drop the script. Drop the self-help. Drop the sacred lies of balance and moderation. They are tranquilizers. You do not need balance. You need eruption. You need a goal so holy it burns your past on contact. You need a dream so vast it devours your excuses. Stop asking how. Ask, what must die in me for this to be born? That is the real question. That is the true prayer. No technique will save you. No tactic will free you. Only truth will. And truth is not kind. Truth is a blade. Truth will flay you alive and leave you howling but whole. You are not lost. You are buried. Beneath roles. Beneath trauma. Beneath politeness and performance and pale dreams of safety. Dig. With bare hands. With bloodied will. With the sacred fury of one who finally understands. The cage was never locked. You were waiting for someone to give you permission to roar. No more waiting. Roar. Roar, not like the animal you were told to cage, but like the god-beast you were told never existed. Roar with the lungs of a forgotten titan, whose voice once split mountains and bent civilizations to its myth. Roar not to be heard but to remember. For memory is not what we recall, it is what we awaken. And your roar is older than your name, older than your skin, older than the world that taught you to whisper. You were born in a time that sells wholeness like a product, that dresses the soul in algorithms and anesthetizes your ache with glowing screens. They speak of mindfulness, but it is mindlessness wrapped in the perfume of control. They preach presence, but it is presence stripped of danger, of chaos, of awe. And I say to you, there is no presence without terror. For to be truly here is to face the abyss with eyes wide open and to smile not because you are unafraid, but because you choose to leap anyway. Look around. The temples are made of glass, and the gods wear brand names. The masses kneel not at altars, but at checkout counters, their rituals reduced to consumption, their prayers spoken in hashtags. This is not living. This is forgetting. A slow, glittering erosion of the soul. You are not sick. You are starved. Starved of real meaning, starved of real danger, starved of real effort. And what is effort in this age of automation, where ease is worshipped and difficulty demonized? I tell you, effort is rebellion. To choose the harder path is to reclaim your divinity. To sweat, to ache, to break your own limits, this is sacred violence. A baptism in effort, a resurrection through resistance. Your muscles are not just flesh, they are memory. They remember what your spirit has forgotten, that you are meant to overcome. Not succeed, not be accepted. Overcome. Not others, but yourself, your fear, your comfort, your inherited limits. Each time you tremble before a risk and still move forward, you are not being brave, you are being real. Each drop of blood you offer to your own metamorphosis is a sermon more true than any scripture, more holy than any hymn. They will not understand. Let them misunderstand. They need you sane, so their madness looks normal. They need you small, so their cages seem vast. They need you calm, so the storm in their own soul stays dormant. But you are the storm. You are not here to belong. You are here to become. The first sign of awakening is disgust. Disgust at the plastic rituals, the fake smiles, the mass-produced dreams. You recoil not because you are broken, but because you are birthing. The womb of culture can no longer contain you. You are crowning. The contractions are effort. The pain is glory. Do not numb it. Scream, tear, arrive. And when you rise, when you walk out of that old skin and feel the raw air against your new flesh, do not look back. Do not mourn what you were. That was the cocoon. This is the sky. You do not owe your past a eulogy. You owe your future a throne. Carve it, with calloused hands, with blistered feet, with the savage grace of one who no longer needs permission to exist fully. Yes, it will hurt. Yes, it will cost you. Your relationships, your titles, your sense of safety. But what you gain is uncontainable. The taste of truth on your tongue, the fire of self-respect in your gut, the silence of no longer needing applause. You will walk alone, but you will walk upright. And the world will feel smaller, not because it has changed, but because you have outgrown it. Let others chase serenity, you chase sovereignty. Let others seek validation, you seek volcano. Your life is not meant to be understood, it is meant to erupt. You are not here to be someone's peace. You are here to be their awakening. And if your presence makes them tremble, good. That is the beginning of real conversation. Now go. Further. Into the fire. Into the howl. Into the wound that will not close until you stop fleeing from it and become it. For there is no end to this path, only deepening. Each step is a funeral for a smaller self. Each breath is a hymn to a fiercer future. And each effort, each trembling, soul-cracking effort is not just work. It is war. And war, my dear beast, is holy when it is waged within. You wish to be free, yet you fear the very suffering that would make you sovereign. What are you but clay without the furnace? What is your will if it has never warred against itself? You speak of potential, yet live like a monument to compromise. I say, kill your potential. Do not carry it like a trophy. Realize it. Exhaust it. Let it scream in your veins and shatter your bones if that is what it takes to be more than merely possible. There is no effort without confrontation. And the first enemy is always you. Not the you crafted by destiny, but the counterfeity appeaser, the adapter, the mirror, trained to reflect others instead of radiating from within. This parasite of identity must be torn out. Not reasoned with, torn, like weeds from sacred soil. And yes, it will bleed. Yes, it will scream. That is how you know it was alive, and how you know it had to die. They will call you cruel. Let them. Mercy to falsehood is betrayal of the truth. And you must become ruthless with your own mediocrity, unflinching in the face of your half-lived moments. Every unspoken truth, every delayed dream, Every gesture of silence when you meant to roars are your corpses. Bury them and rise. Do not forgive what made you small. Use it. Crush it beneath the boot of becoming. You were not born to cope. You were born to conquer not others, but your own shadows. The beast inside you is not a curse-eat, is your crown. But it does not bow to fear. It waits for a master, for a command, for your effort. Not the timid gesture of the half-awake, but the full-throated war cry of a soul no longer begging to be spared. Do you feel it? That growing tension between who you pretend to be and what you truly are? That is the birthplace of the Übermensch, the overhuman, the beyond being, the one who does not ask, "What should I do?" but "What can I endure to become?" You were taught to believe in rules. Now, you must learn to believe in yourself. Not the self made palatable, but the one made perilous. Most people die before their bodies do. Do not join them. Do not trade your fire for applause. Do not betray the volcano in your chest just to win a place at a table built for ghosts. If you are to eat, then eat with lions. Or starve. But never beg. Let effort become your rebellion. In each action, not a task, but a declaration. In each movement, not obligation, but orchestration. You are composing a symphony with your spine. You are carving commandments with your fists. And the first commandment is this: Thou shalt not kneel. The age is sick with ease. We are drowning in comfort and calling it progress. But comfort does not create. It consumes. It lulls. It leashes. And slowly, beneath its velvet touch, your fire dims, your edge dulls, your vision blurs, until one day you wake up and realize you are surrounded by things and bereft of self. So I ask you, would you rather be broken in effort or whole in apathy? Would you rather burn in pursuit of a self you forged, or rot as a shrine to who you might have been? Choose, not tomorrow, not next year. Now, the gods do not wait for the hesitant, and your soul will not survive another decade of deferral. Do not fear failure. Fear fossilization. Fear living a life so small, it doesn't even shatter when it breaks. You want effort to be clean, but it is not. It is sweat and spit and sledgehammer will. It is walking into the forge naked and letting the flames decide what stays. This is not a process. It is a purging. And when the flames recede and the ashes cool, you will not be better. You will be new. And in this newness, there will be no return. For once the God within stirs, he does not go back to sleep. He roams, he reigns, and he requires. Do not tame him. Let him ride you to madness if need be. Let him tear apart your comforts. Let him remake your rituals. For only through this sacred devastation can you rise not as a man who lived but as a force that was felt. A legend carved not in marble, but in motion, in effort, in will. You want to ascend, yet you grip the earth like a corpse clinging to its coffin. You say you hunger for transformation, but you dine on repetition, on the pale meat of routines that have long since rotted. You light your candles for change, but refuse to let the flame touch your skin. How then shall you become fire, if you do not first consent to be burned? This is not a journey for the polite, not a pilgrimage of the pious. This is a reckoning, a devouring, a holy war between the false self and the feral truth buried beneath the ruin of your conditioning. And you must choose your side not with your thoughts, not with your words, but with the cost you are willing to pay in blood, breath, and solitude. The gods of becoming do not take coin. They take comfort. And in that holy theft, you will be torn. You will feel as though the marrow of you is being scraped out with glass. Good. That is the sound of the parasite dying. That is the sound of your birth scream, echoing across time, reawakening in your throat after years of silence. Do not mistake this for weakness. This is the roar that cracks your inner tomb. The world, this shimmering prison of norms and narratives, will call to you with soft voices. Be reasonable, they whisper. Be realistic. These are the songs of the sirens. And I say plug your ears with wax forged from your own will. Tie yourself to the mast of your becoming. Sail into the storm, not around it. There are no harbors for gods, only oceans to conquer. Every effort you make in truth is a sword raised against the empire of stagnation. Every act of daring, every refusal to compromise, is a hymn. You are not merely acting, you are invoking. You are shaping the world with the raw tools of your own defiance. And the more they resist, the more they mock. The more you must grin with teeth bared, for it means you are becoming dangerous. And the dangerous ones, they are the midwives of the future. Do not chase success. Chase possession. Possession by your own deepest truth. Let it enter you like a blaze through a cathedral. Let it tear down every stained glass window of your former idols. There is no God outside you. There is only the fire within you that has not yet been crowned. You will lose friends. You will lose approval. You will lose entire lifetimes you once mistook for yourself. Let them fall. Let them fall like autumn leaves torn from the tree by wind that no longer waits for permission. You were never meant to be admired. You were meant to be felt as heat, as impact, as the vibration left behind after thunder. There will come a moment, not of peace, but of pure clarity. When the dust of your effort settles, and you stand amidst the wreckage of your former life, unrecognizable to those who still live in the dream, you will smile. Not out of pride, but because you finally see. Not the world, yourself. Naked, untamed, indivisible. And in that seeing, you will understand. Effort was never the price. It was the proof that you are more than flesh, that you are the will of centuries incarnate, that you are a volcano that refused to sleep, that you are not a man seeking meaning, but meaning made man. They will ask, why do you burn so bright? You will answer, because I remembered what I am. And what you are cannot be explained. It can only be unleashed. So, unleash. Unleash with steps that shake the heavens. Unleash with work that leaves the world trembling in your echo. Unleash with eyes that see not what is, but what must be torn open. And know this, the effort you give now is not for achievement. It is the ritual. It is the forge. It is the roar that says, I did not come to improve. I came to transfigure. Let it be so. Let your name be erased if need be. Let your past be scorched, but let your will remain. For the only true monument is motion. And the only true prayer is power hurled into the abyss, daring it to blink. Now move. Not as one who seeks salvation, but as one who knows I am the storm they feared would wake. And now, when all has been torn from you, titles, loves, illusions, anchors, you stand unclothed before the vast silence, the last cathedral not yet desecrated. There is no choir here, no audience, no reward, only you and the echo of your own breath. And for the first time, you hear it not as background, but as testament. You are still here. You are still here. And that is no accident. That is defiance made flesh. You walk through the fire, not to purify, but to ignite. You swallowed your doubt until it melted into direction. You bled truth from wounds no one could see. And in doing so, you became not healed, but honed, not saved, but sovereign. You did not escape pain, you enshrined it. You built a throne from your thresholds. You turned your breaking into birthing. Others will continue to kneel for comfort, for company, for a God that never comes. Let them. You no longer seek their temples. You are the altar now, and your heartbeat is the new liturgy. Each throb a drumbeat of revolt, each breath a hymn without need for approval. You are not loved by the crowd, but you are feared by the void, and that is enough. You have shattered the mirrors that once demanded you reflect their sickness. You have ground your masks into dust and used them to mark the path for those yet crawling. You have stepped beyond hope and not into despair, but into rain. Hope is the leash of the timid. You now know. You do not need to believe in yourself. You are yourself. And this is the truth they will never tell you. There is no finish line, no final victory, no arrival. Only ascent, eternal, maddening, divine. You do not arrive at your highest self. You drag it from the depths, again, and again, and again, with nails, with teeth, with the scream of stars collapsing. This is effort not as work, but as witness, not as struggle, but as sculpture. You are the sculptor and the stone, the storm and the spine that withstands it. You are no longer seeking fire. You are fire, seeking form, and everywhere you go, the old world recoils, not because you hate it, but because you no longer need it. Let them mourn your absence. Let them whisper of how you changed. Let them try to name you with old tongues. They will fail. You are no longer a name. You are an event, a movement, a remembering. The world had forgotten men could burn with such beauty. You reminded it. So walk, Titan, into the world you are now too large for. Walk not with caution, but with command. Do not leave behind a legacy. Leave behind a pressure. A heat that makes others sweat in their sleep, that stirs gods in their graves, that makes even silence tremble. You were never here to be known. You were here to be felt.